Hi, everybody. Welcome to a special interview here on Two Up Front, presented by Three Lines Pub at the Attention Era Media Studios. We welcome you inside the studio. I am Baxter Colburn.
And I'm Simon Provan.
All right, Simon Provan. Moving along, not only with the interviews that we've got taking place today, another special interview, another good friend of the show as well, too. We've just been reminiscing with all of our good friends today. It's been a great day.
NWSL season is in full play now, so we're getting all of our good NWSL friends back on the show, Baxter.
It's true. It almost sounds like a show like NWSL and Friends or something like that. I love it. Exactly. Some cute, cheesy, intro or something.
See us skipping along in the park and arms together.
Exactly. Well, our next interview is no stranger to overcoming adversity and just in general being very successful with her career. She's moved from, I'm going to get this right, Western New York, now down to North Carolina, back in the homeland for her where she spent her college days. She is a part of the North Carolina Courage. It is Jess McDonald of the Courage, and she joins us now. Jess, great to see you. Welcome to Two Up Front. How are you today?
Hi, thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely, Jess. We obviously caught you in the middle of some shopping, but we'll do our best to not help you pick out the strawberries or whatever you're trying to pick out there as you're going along with your Target trip.
Yeah, no worries.
But we're excited to have you back on the show, Jess. We want to talk first and foremost, of course, about I just want to get your thoughts about being back in North Carolina. We'll get to the games and all that fun stuff in a moment, but kind of a dream come true for you, I think, from what all accounts, from what I've heard, to be back in North Carolina where you spent some of your very pivotal years. What's it like to be playing professional soccer now for a team representing your state of North Carolina?
I think it's absolutely incredible, and I think it's just an incredible opportunity, especially for my team, because I think at the end of the day that we truly deserve to be, of all places, be moved here. And it's such a soccer fan environment, and it's a huge soccer community. And I just think us surrounding ourselves with such a great fan base, a place where they know the game of soccer, I think it's just a comfortable move for us. And I just think it's just really cool overall.
Yeah, you won a championship, obviously, in college with University of North Carolina, and now you have the opportunity to do that with North Carolina Courage, or NC Courage at the professional level. You won the championship with Western New York Flash last year. Your team basically moved, including your coach. And as you said, Baxter, we'll get to this past weekend's game. But how are you guys feeling about possibly doing that odd thing of repeating as NWSL champions, but under a different name?
I think that we're just one of those teams that we're just trying to take one game at a time. Even though we are the defending champs, we try to not see ourselves that way, because that's kind of the chip that we had on our shoulder last season. People didn't expect much from us, so we just came from that underdog sort of mentality, and that's kind of the same mentality that we want to have this season. We took one game at a time, we took one step at a time, and that's sort of our mentality, is improving as a team on and off the field, and just kind of learning from each game and just improving overall throughout the season. So I think that's just kind of where our heads are at. Of course, it would be great to win a championship, but at the end of the day, we're actually not even looking that far ahead. We're looking towards Saturday right now. And then once Saturday's over, we'll be looking towards the following weekend. So that's kind of where we're at mentally as a team, is just kind of improving game by game and day by day, in and out of training.
And to be fair, though, you guys do have history on your side. I mean, FC Kansas City repeated NWSL championships early on in the inception of the NWSL. So it's not like it's never been done before and you have to worry about chasing history or any of that craziness that, the media likes to throw up as well, too. But so that, to an extent, that does kind of feel like help calm the nerves. But I do want to look back at this weekend as a whole. Your team does get the victory in the championship rematch. I feel like it was horribly underpromoted, in all honesty. Usually when you have the rematches in the NFL of the Super Bowl, people are freaking out about this is revenge. I heard no revenge, talks at all coming from the Spirit or from the national media at all too. But how did you ladies view this game going into it? Was it just a season opener, cool? Or were you I remember the last time we played these guys, this was an insane battle down to the very bitter end, and Lynn saved us, thankfully.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the thought going into this game this last weekend against Washington?
Yeah, well, for some people, it was wow, we're playing the Spirit the first game, and it's funny because we just came off of playing them in the championship. So only some of us sort of had that mentality. It's okay, this is kind of a vindictive sort of game for them. But whereas for the other half of us, it was like, this is the first game of the season. We're still the same team as last year, whereas Washington Spirit is kind of starting fresh. They almost have a whole new roster this year. And so that was sort of the advantage that we wanted to take in this first game. And so some of us had that, okay, it's a vindictive championship game again, or it's just the first game of the season and let's just take it from there. So it was sort of like a back and forth kind of thing in the locker room. So it's just really cool to sort of spark that energy regardless of, whatever person's mentality was going into the game.
Jessica, looking at the stats from that game is kind of crazy. Possession especially. Washington actually owned possession against you guys, yet you guys had 21 shots, 9 of those on goal compared to Washington's 4 shots on goal. Obviously, a big part of this was Stephanie LeBay having a huge game for Washington.
Absolutely. Holy cow.
But 8 saves and some of those, and one of those against a great header that you had, and her just taking it right out of the goal. But you guys use a diamond formation in this game. Obviously, a lot of this was just moving that ball around quickly. Is that what we can expect to see the rest of the year with NC Courage?
Yeah, definitely. You guys will definitely continue to see a lot of opportunities being made by us because we're such an attacking-minded kind of team. We want to go forward as much as possible. Whatever opportunity that we see to go forward, that's what we try and take advantage of. And I think their goalkeeper had such an incredible game. Like, wow, her athleticism and even my header goal or my header shot.
So you're looking like it should have been a goal. So you're mentally it's like, come on, man, Steph, let that one go in.
Exactly. It just kind of took away my fame for a second. But she had such an incredible game that, we just kept taking it at her, kept sort of testing her. That's the word I'm looking for. That's all we want to do with these goalkeepers in this league is continue to test them because you never know when they're going to make a mistake. And I mean, even if we get the ball in frame and they make a great save, that's great for them because that's sort of the competition that we need. But I think something you guys will definitely expect from us is a lot of shots on goal and a lot of attacking plays and sort of keeping people at the edge of their seats this season.
Well, speaking of goals, the one goal that was scored this game came from McCall Zerboni. And, how fitting for a player who's played in both the WPS, the NWSL. She's played with several different teams. Basically, a representation of women's professional soccer all in one player there, scoring NC Courage's first goal ever. How fitting was that, Jessica?
Absolutely fitting. And it was absolutely incredible of all people on our team to score that goal. I think that McCall absolutely deserved that. And it was crazy because she called me off that ball right in time because I was going to go for it and she called it. And obviously she had a better opportunity on goal than I did. And the fact that it went in, it just sent an exciting chill throughout our squad and throughout our organization. So I think for her of all people, she truly deserved that goal. And I just thought it was world class.
What is with everybody stealing goals from you, Jess? Steph robs you of a header goal. McCall steals your shot as well, too.
I'm trying to be nice about it, too, so it's okay.
Well, speaking of goals, obviously, last season, Jess, you were able to get on the score sheet a lot of times. Your counterpart, Lynn Williams, also was the talk of the NWSL last season. MVP, of course. Among other things, the national team call-ups for both of you ladies as well, too. What have been the conversations between you and Lynn in the offseason and after 1 week as well, too, to try to emulate and duplicate that success that you had last season this year?
Yeah, so it's funny because we actually just had that talk probably about a week or two ago that we need to kind of get back in sync together again. And the fact that we've been in and out of camps throughout the off season, it's really cool to continue to get used to each other on the field. And if she needs to communicate something with me, like, hey, maybe position here instead of here, and vice versa for me, our communication is it's top notch right now. And for us to be in sync this season, like last season, I think that we will create a lot of opportunities for each other. And hopefully one of us will get MVP and Golden Boot again. If it's not me, then I'm crossing my fingers it's her. So I just think it's just going to be a pretty cool season for the both of us to play together again.
Well, speaking of playing together again, obviously you know that first game of the season was finished the way it is. You get the shutout, you got the first goal. Now you look ahead to what lies in front of you. So you go from one rematch, of course, with all the hype. Now you go play a team like Portland, who, as everybody knows, is always incredibly talented with stars like Ali Long and others on that squad. How do you mentally prepare from going from this rematch of a hyped up game to now playing arguably the best team in the league from a player personnel across the board?
I think it's more excitement. This is one of those games that we look forward to every season, whether if it's playing in front of their fan base or our own. They're just obviously an incredible team, and they're an incredible team to play against. So the battle between the two of us would just be an absolute incredible thing, especially for the fans and for each organization overall. And I think because they are so talented, we are a great team that can match up with theirs. And so we'll just see who the better team is come this weekend.
Yeah, similar lines as you were saying, Baxter. I mean, this is a loaded team. Tobin Heath, of course, being one
Christian
of those players
Sinclair,
as well.
You can keep going down the roster.
Right. But the great thing is this is also North Carolina Courage's home opener.
Yeah.
First time ever. Any special events that the club is planning that you're aware of, Jessica?
Not that I know of. We've had like some video shoots, some photo shoots for the home opener, but anything past that, I'm not too sure about, but I'm sure there are going to be a few surprises there.
How excited are you? I mean, some people would say, what a stupid question, but I do have to ask you again.
It means a lot more, though. Like when you're asking someone like Jess who has the history, it means more.
That's exactly. So how excited are you for this weekend, Jessica?
Extremely, because we get to see what our fan base is like, first and foremost. We get to see what it's like to play on such a beautiful grass field in front of our fans and in front of our family, and playing at home specifically. We don't have to travel. So I think just getting comfortable in our own hometown, I just think it's just really cool and extremely exciting. I mean, it's just going to be an exhilarating experience, I believe.
Last question from me here, Jess, before we let you run. So one of the last times we talked to you, you were just beginning your stints with the national team for a couple of different camps. You've had the opportunity now to go through a couple of different camps with Jill Ellis, get some international experience as well, too. What have been some of your biggest takeaways at the international level, getting to play around, world-class players on a consistent basis for a couple of weeks? What did you learn? How do you feel? Is there talks about coming back again soon? What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I think overall it's such a great experience playing with the best players in the world. The cool thing about this squad is that each and every person on this squad will give you some feedback. Hey, Jess, instead of taking this touch, take this touch. Like, you have so many more other options, because playing at that level, you feel as if like you can't even hear yourself think, because everything's just going so fast. And so for you to sort of think before you make a play, that helps you improve as a player. And I think that's something I've definitely learned, and playing under Paul Riley has definitely helped prep me for an environment like that. And so I just think it's just been a really amazing experience overall. And of course, I'm learning something day by day, going at full speed all the time. Just trying to think ahead of the play is just one thing I'm definitely going to have to improve on, and just taking any kind of feedback I can from anyone on the team and coaching staff as well.
Jessica, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. What a quintessential NWSL interview, Baxter. Here we are talking to Jessica McDonald while she's shopping for her son. It says so much about this league and the players in it, and people like yourself. And congrats on a great year. God's blessings on the coming year as well, Jessica.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Absolutely, Jess. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
No problem. Have a good one.
Yep, you as well. There goes Jess McDonald on the shopfutsal.com call-in line. Great to hear from her. Great to get the insight from her as well, too. We do have official confirmation she did buy the Power Ranger sheets for her son as well, too. So definitely, not only is she a smart decision maker on the field, but she's a very smart decision maker off the field as well, too, when it comes to outfitting her son's bedroom. But she's just one of those great people. Just one of those people you look at. When someone would ask me, what is the NWSL, I would say, look at Jess McDonald.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, going back to my comment before, for the fact that she knows she has the interview, yet she's out shopping because she has to, and you don't get that in many other leagues, and to me that's pretty exciting, because it does show how down to earth these players still are. And we'll continue to be.
Right, exactly. I mean, very rarely do you find someone in this league that is very full of themselves and be like, oh, I don't have that kind of time for you, or I'm not going to take a call while I'm shopping and doing these other things because I have a life. Like, that's great that they're trying to grow the league, and these are ways to do something like that.
And one of the things, too, that you'd see, and of course some people will say, well, or argue that, well, you need to have some personality in the league, like a Dennis Rodman for an old throwback name there. But you saw Joanna Lohman go down this week, and 11 minutes into that game we were talking about against the Courage. You saw how many players from other teams reached out to her on Twitter and get healthy, Joanna. Praying for you, whatever it may be. I guess you do see that in some leagues, but in this league itself, there's so much more of a connection, no matter what team you play on, between all the players.
Exactly, and I completely agree with you on that one. And I just think that the one thing you hear from so many of these ladies is that this is a family. Like, my teammates aren't just my friends or my teammates, but like I've got friends on other teams as well too, and we are just this one big soccer family. And I think because they're all in it together, they're all trying to
have
compete.
to be. You look at the CBA negotiations that just happened; they have to be in it together because there's a lot of players not making a lot of money in this league.
Right. I completely agree with you on that one. So, well, we appreciate you guys stopping by to check out the interview today, of course, with Jess McDonald. We've got a lot more exciting action for you, of course, on 2 Up Front. Make sure to find us on Brew Sports on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 Eastern. You can also go to our website, 2upfrontsoccer.com, the number 2, and also find us on the Brew Sports Network, brewsportsnet.com, on their Facebook page as well.
Yeah, find us on Facebook, 2 Up Front Soccer, or you can find us on Twitter at 2 Up Front Soccer. You can find him at Baxter Colburn. You can find myself at Simon Provan.
All right, for Simon Provan, I'm Baxter Colburn. Thanks for tuning in to this interview with Jess McDonald from MC Courage. We'll see you guys next time on 2 Up Front.